All right, great. Well, welcome everyone. And if someone's listening to this on YouTube, great. My name's Rai. I will be the GM for our 8-session run of Scum and Villainy with the Gauntlet gaming community. The Gauntlet, for folks that aren't familiar, is an online gaming community that focuses on story games and OSR role-playing. We have a couple of podcasts and play a lot of great indie games, and I'm excited to be running a little bit longer term game for the Gauntlet. Most of them are 4 sessions, 5 sessions type of thing, but I've been wanting to get in a longer session run of Scum and Villainy for a while and really get into some of the other mechanics. And for those on the recording too, apologize for the child screaming noises in the background. I already apologized to everybody else once for that. So with that, why don't we do a quick round of introductions? And if folks want to just give us their name, pronouns, I use he, him pronouns, and favorite new game, and that would be great. Richard, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Richard. I'm a he, him. Favorite new game? I don't know. Probably Dungeon World is new to me, and I like it a lot.
Stephen?
Hey there. I'm Steven, he, him. In terms of new games, I guess I quite enjoyed the demo of Game Monster Kiss Club.
That sounds awesome. All right, Brian.
Brian, he, him. I don't know my favorite. I mean, Scum and Villainy might be. I don't know if it's new still, but it's up there for me.
Cool. All right, Terry.
Well, I'm Terry. I go he, him, they, them. And as far as favorite new game, this might end up being it, but right now it's Star Trek Adventures. Not new, but I'm in another stream with it, so it's new to me.
And I, as I said, I'm excited to run a little bit longer version of Scum and Villainy. I've run a number of 3 and 4 sessions before of it with some friends. So I don't have all the rules 100%. So if folks want to jump in here and there, if I goof something up, please feel free to correct me on them. But I really love Blades in the Dark as well, and I think this is just a really fun mechanic to keep all our characters stressed out and constantly moving and getting into trouble. So the authors, if anyone's interested in picking this up, is Strauss Asimovic and John LaBouffe Little. I think I pronounced that right. But yeah, it's a really great game. All right, I'm going to go over some of our safety tools before we get started. Go through some cats, the X card, and lines and veils real quick, and then do a quick design palette with everyone if there's things we want to have in the game for sure or don't want to have in it. So as far as cats go, I assume you're pretty familiar with the concept of Scum and Villainy, but basically will be kind of space opera-y. We're going to be starting out with a number of space adventurers trying to rescue either their loved ones or someone important to them for one reason or another from a prison. Isotropa Max Secure. It's known for corruption. And once you need to do that, we'll deal with the consequences of that. We'll kind of follow your characters' lives through 8 sessions, learn who they are, their relationships with different factions. And I expect this to be on the lighter side of things. The world's kind of a grim place lately, so I'm happy to keep this kind of adventure-y, funner, more upbeat. If folks are interested in more darker tone, let me know. We can do that way, but more in the vein of probably Firefly or something like that is kind of what I was aiming for. So This is a action adventure game, so there can be acts of violence. There's vices involved, so cheating, drugs, space battles, lying, all sorts of things like that. We'll get into that, but that'll be kind of the subject matter that's covered in this. And we'll be picking out a ship, and that'll kind of determine the types of jobs or types of adventures that we go on as we go forward. So our next safety tool kind of thing I wanted to go over is the X card. If you've been playing with the Gauntlet for a while, I'm sure you're familiar with this, but if at any time there is content that you are uncomfortable with, just type an X in the chat, throw up your arms in an X, or just say X card. We will revisit that content, or we can just rewind a little bit and go around it. If you're comfortable talking about what exactly it is that triggered that, that's great. If not, we can just back up 5 minutes in the plot and go in a different direction. Next will be lines and veils, and I forgot to put these in Roll20 here. Let me add those. Excuse the small child in the background. Appreciate your patience.
Mine are all grown up. So.
There's protest over a diaper change. On the right side of the Roll20 screen, have all of you used Roll20 before? Yeah? Okay, so you're familiar with where to find stuff. Under the handout section, I posted in there lines and veils. These are kind of the ones that I usually use. Let's see if I can show this to everyone. There we go. You know, if you can see that. But we can add to this. So if there's anything else that folks would like to add, we can. Lines, of course, are things that we'll kind of go up against, but we won't really talk about in, lines are something we will not discuss or include in the game. And then veils are something that we might just fade to black on if that's something that we want in the game, but maybe it makes someone a little bit uncomfortable. So anything else folks would like to add here? And I know Garrett with the Gauntlet has been working on a great list of lines and veils for the other character keepers, but I have not had a chance to bring that into Roll20 yet. So feel free also, if there's something offline that comes up and you want to let me include that, I can bring it in at a later session, or even mid-session if something comes up that you didn't think of now, we can bring that in later. Okay. So the next thing I was going to do is do a little bit of a design palette here. Let me create this new one here. All right, so what I'd like to do is just go around, I think probably twice, and have each person say one thing they want to have in the game, whether it's lightsabers, interstellar travel, I don't know, gigantic Cthulhu-esque beings, whatever that is, something that you would be interested in having in this kind of space opera world. And then we'll go around once too, and if you can say something you want or you don't want. Maybe you don't want to have aliens that are mostly looking like human, like the Star Wars type aliens, like Chewbacca or something like that. You want only aliens that are like totally out there. So we'll go around twice, and each person can just throw up something they want or they don't want in the game, and I will add that into this note here. So we'll start with Terry. Anything you'd really like to see in the game or not like to have in the game?
see here. I'd really like to see it kind of a more of a secretive faction coming after us. Something that's kind of, we're not completely aware of what they're capable of.
Okay, great. Brian?
Let's start with something I don't want to see. There's some mysticism and kind of fantasy elements in Scum and Villainy. I'd like those things are fine, but they should be on the mysterious side. They shouldn't be like commonplace. I'd rather have people be surprised or less familiar with those kinds of things.
So rare instead of commonplace.
We're just kept secret mostly.
Okay. So I think it's called the Way. Will be secretive and not like common knowledge. So, okay, great. Stephen?
Eccentric robots.
Have or not have?
Have, yeah.
Great. Richard?
Soul-crushing corporations.
As a have, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Back to you, Terry.
And kind of like you were saying, I don't want to see it go as much towards the Star Wars side. I'd like to see kind of a different veil to it. That's like whether it be Firefly or whatever, right?
Okay.
Like by Star Wars, like, do you mean you want to stay away from big space battle-y type things, or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, more centered on the characters.
Brian?
So I don't mind the presence of Star Trek aliens where there's just they've got some prosthetics on their forehead, but I definitely would like to see some genuinely very alien aliens.
Stephen. There we go. Sorry. My mic was muted.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of kind of what I'm thinking of is I'd like to stay away from the kind of hard sci-fi end of sci-fi. Like, I'm fine if we play like loose with physics and what's realistic in terms of like spaceship designs and things like that.
Okay, so we don't have to know the like nuts and bolts of gravity on a spaceship and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the Star Wars thing where you can step outside in just your clothes and a mask?
I mean, I don't know like that far, but I mean sometimes, yeah. But I mean, I don't know that far necessarily, but I'm just like, I guess I'd prefer to lean into something a little bit like less. I mean, just like less like parsing of the like realism of the science at times.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll try to keep it a little bit at a higher level and go for the personal connections and the action maybe instead of worrying about our doctorate degrees. Richard?
I don't know, giant and enigmatic things, whether that be just huge structures or, space whales or something along that line. So stuff that is not necessarily anything you can interact with in a meaningful way, but is definitely colourful.
Oh man, in a group I ran, I just finished up running a campaign for my regular group of this, and they opened up the secret portal to reveal that there was an alien the size of a sun on the other side.
Ooh.
It just had like planets orbiting it, like worshipping it as their god.
Yeah, that reminds me of Discworld or something a little bit with the turtle going through space. That's awesome. All right, great. Let's save this and show players. All right, so those are kind of what we will have and not want to have. Hopefully, I kind of captured the gist of what you were saying. If I didn't, let me know, and I can adjust course appropriately. All right. All right, so next thing we need to do is make characters. So I will add your name here to each of these character sheets that I created. Just give me a second to do that. I was going to do it earlier, but sometimes there's drops and things and didn't want to spend a ton of time on it. So, all right, and okay. So the reason I wanted to use Roll20 at all is they have these great character playbooks already built with all the check marks and everything that makes it pretty easy to keep track of this. And I asked around if there was a Excel version, but nobody had one kind of readily available. So we'll go through this. First thing we need to do is kind of figure out who's going to be playing what role. And I think you all had a chance to look at the PDF I sent around, but there are 7 possible playbooks. There's the mechanic, the muscle, the mystic, a pilot, a scoundrel, a speaker, and a stitch. And so I know a few of you sent me a few requests. I think Terry, you said either the mystic, the stitch, or the speaker. Brian, you said a muscle, speaker, or a stitch. Richard, you were interested in possibly being the muscle. And let's see here. I don't see, Stephen, you didn't send anything.
Yeah,
So
I'm maybe leaning for the speaker, but I could also maybe do mechanic.
okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy with a mechanic if someone else wants to be muscle. I'm not wedded to anything.
Okay. And then the only other thing I was going to throw in here, I'm happy for you guys to be whatever. We don't necessarily need a pilot, but if we don't have a pilot, someone could have piloting skills, and I think we can cover it with that. So that's just one thing to think of. Or I can run an NPC as the pilot of the ship if you're interested in that. So don't let that influence you too much. Definitely grab what you're interested in. Why don't we, Terry, you were the first one to send me an email, so why don't you go ahead and let me know if you're still interested in doing the Mystic.
I am, and I do like Brian's idea of keeping it secret and down on the down low, because that was kind of what I was thinking as well, is that it's not completely acceptable, and that's why it has to be kept on the down low.
Okay, great. Anybody else really interested in the Mystic? Or all right. So Terry will be Mystic. Brian, you were next. You said muscle, speaker, or stitch. Are you leaning to one of those more than the other?
Well, it sounds like muscle and speaker. Maybe there's other people interested in that, so I would just take stitch.
Okay, great. And Richard, do you want to still be the muscle?
Yeah, I'd be happy to go the pilot if you need a pilot.
It's if you want to play a pilot is really what it's up to, because we can there's ways around that. We don't necessarily have to have a pilot. It's just if someone wants to do the fun ship rolls and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I guess the bottom line, I've never played the game, so I'll be guided by you. If it's a complicated role, then I'll go to muscle. If it's no more complicated than anything else, then I'm more than happy to play a pilot.
I think it's just if you want to kind of play the that role. I mean, if you think of
Like
the
the only thing really, because technically there are no actual classes since you can just take moves from anywhere. The only thing that like is different about them is that you have different like loadouts and like what you're rewarded for playing as. Like if you want to be rewarded for like piloting vehicles and pulling off stunts in them, then that's what the pilot is. But if you want to be rewarded for like punching people and intimidating things, that's what the muscle gets rewarded for.
Then I'll take the pilot. I think I think
Okay.
I can do that.
Great. And so, Stephen, are you still the speaker, or?
Yeah, I think I'm going with the speaker.
Okay, great. All right, easy. So what we'll do is it's pretty easier if you've made a playbook or a character before in Roll20. Just up at the top where it says playbook, you want to type in the word for your class. So you'll type in scoundrel or speaker or muscle up there, and then it will pre-populate the rest of that with the class abilities there for you. Let me know if anyone's having any issues with that. All right. Great. All right. So the first things we have to do here, where's my handy PDF? We chose our playbooks. So you all begin with a starting ability. The only kind of option other than taking that starting ability is that if you wanted to play a Xeno, which is their term for like an alien, a Chewbacca or something, then you could cancel out your starting ability and use that Xeno ability instead. So is anyone interested in doing that, or you want to just go with the basic starting abilities of your classes? Okay, Steven's good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Brian's good. Richard's good. Terry, you good? Cool. All right. So that part's easy. Step 3, choose a special ability. So if you scroll down kind of at the bottom left of the character sheet there, you'll see your starting ability, which you could check, and then choose a special ability on the left side there. And just mark that for me so I can see what you guys are choosing here. There's a little triangle next to them. You can click that and it'll select them for you.
Not sure if you saw it on your end, but I lost power for a second. But I'm running off a laptop. So.
Okay, no worries. You're still here, so your internet connection didn't disappear. So
Yeah, I'm going through tablet, so that part's good too.
okay.
I just wasn't sure how dark my screen went.
It did flicker.
All right. How are folks doing on picking those out? Steven's good. Let's see.
Just the one we're picking, right?
Yeah, you just take one. You should click your starting ability at the top, and then your one special ability. So you're gonna do Construct Whisper from the mechanic. Cool, Steven.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
I just really want to rather than like actually hack anything. I just want to talk it into just helping us.
All those machines are gonna have personalities now.
Eccentric personalities, I believe.
So Richard, you've got Exceed Specs and Ace Pilot. Excellent. Brian.
Excuse me.
Haven't settled on anything yet, but
Um,
we'll move on. Figure it out.
for some reason, Terry's character sheet has decided to get very small and won't let me enlarge it.
It's fine on my screen, so that's weird.
Did you pick something out, Terry?
Yeah, I went with Visions.
Visions, okay. All right, so Brian, did you pick something, or are you still looking?
Not yet, but
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. Are you okay with us moving on to the next step? Okay, cool. So the next thing is we need to choose a heritage. So if you look up at the kind of top of your character sheet, there is a section like right under name and look where it says heritage. So you could be an Imperial, which is kind of working for the Imperial Army or Space Fleet or some noble house or something like that. A spacer, a colonist, you could be manufactured, a wanderer, or a Xeno is an alien. So just go ahead and click one of those, or I think you click it, or write it up above there, I guess, what your heritage will be. And we'll share all of these and have you introduce your characters when we're done. So just I'll give you a minute or so to think that over. All right, next step is to choose a background. So this is also kind of right over in that section right next to that. So academic, labor, cult, guild, or military, noble, or syndicate. Everybody good with that? Anybody still thinking about a background?
Yeah, I still am. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else still need a minute on that, or good to move on? Thumbs up. Cool. Brian, are you good? Cool. All right. So next is assign action dots. No action may begin with a rating higher than 2. After your character creation, you can bump them up to a 3. So you're going to assign 4 additional action points. And keep in mind that these are just things that you're better at. You can always roll one of the other skills. You just will not be as good in it. And there's a way to get dice for the other skills that we'll go over when it's time to roll, and we'll kind of teach the rules as we go forward. So
And you said 4, right?
4, yes. So for
And
example,
none can go to 3.
none can go to 3 at the beginning. No, you have to earn that third one. So for example, Richard, you're the pilot. Currently, you have 2 dots in helm. You see that is? There's 2 little arrows over here on the right side.
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah.
And you have 1 in rig. So rig is like fixing stuff or putting stuff together. So you get to assign 4 more action ones. So you just, if you wanted to add a 1 in doctor or hack.
Okay, and we can go up to 3.
You can go up to 2.
2.
2.
Right.
And if anybody wants me to read the definition for one of those, just let me know, and I can pull those up and go over them a little bit.
Can you talk about scramble?
Sure. So scramble is kind of like climbing quickly across something or jumping out of the way of trouble that's incoming. So it's reacting quickly. I'll pull up the exact definition here. Give me a second.
And scrap is fighting, I assume?
Yeah.
It's also good to know that your attribute for the 3 attributes is based on how many abilities you have at least 1 dot.
Right.
Like, you'll note there's like a blue line there. Your attribute is equal to all the pips that are filled in to the left of that line.
Right, okay.
And that's kind of going to be kind of like, if you're familiar with like Dungeons and Dragons, a saving throw is generally how you use that. So like if you're going to take damage and you wanted to use your prowess to try to avoid that damage, you would roll. Currently, Richard, you would have 3 dots there behind that line, so you would roll 3 dice, 3d6.
It's very important for how you get stress, and also then when you dice to get rid of stress.
All right, so scramble is you lift, climb, jump, run, swim, usually away from or into danger. You might vault over a turnstile while escaping authorities or climb the side of a cliff.
And I should note, like, there's one use of doctor that's not like immediately like intuitive, is that doctor can also be used to offer sympathy and emotional support, not just like medical knowledge.
And sometimes, like there's a lot of sciencey stuff that gets covered by maybe like rig or hack, but sometimes doctor actually is just how knowledgeable you are, kind of.
All right. Anybody still have dots left to assign, or has everybody got them assigned? Oh, Terry's got a couple left. Okay. And Richard, if you get a session in and you're like, gee, I really wish I had a dot in command because I'm the pilot and I wish I could boss these people around a little better or something like that, we can talk it over and we can move something for you. So don't feel like, since you've never played before, don't feel like you're totally...
Yep, sounds good.
Goal is to have fun, not to worry too much about it.
I'm done now.
Okay, great. All right, moving right along. So the next thing is to choose one friend and one rival. And these are the people you know well. Mark someone who's a close friend, longtime ally, family relation, lover, etc. And another who's turned rival, enemy, scorned lover, betrayed partner, etc. And I will try to look at your character sheets in between sessions and think up interesting ways for these people to kind of pop up or become part of the story as we move forward. These are, I think, the bottom right corner of your character sheet where it says fast friends down there. They have an up arrow if you like them and a down arrow if you don't like them. Everybody got their friends and enemies? Anybody waiting still? Good, good. Brian? Cool. All right. Great. All right. Two more steps here. The next thing is we got to choose your vice. So up, if you go back up to where your heritage and background were up above in the top left, you will see up there is a line for vice, and they are faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, and weird.
And
Again,
it should note that vice... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I was going to say, it should note that, like, even though it's called vice, it really means, like, the thing you'll pursue to, like, the point of causing problems for yourself. Like, you can have a good thing as your vice, but it just means that, like, it's something you're willing to do to like, pursue, even when it's a bad idea.
Yeah, and Richard, just so you know how this kind of works mechanically, the way Scum and Villainy works is there's kind of a mission round, and then there's a downtime round where you get to do some other actions, work on projects, or do other things. And one of the things you can do during your downtime is relieve stress. And to do that, you have to indulge your vice. And so we'll kind of follow your characters through their antics of what they do on their off time as well, to release stress. And at some point, if you overindulge your vice, or you get to that point, you'll start disappearing, and we'll miss you for a while because you're out in either in a coma somewhere or just off screen for a while. So,
or you just cause problems for the rest of the crew or fall into debt.
Yeah, maybe you're out gambling and you run up a huge debt, and now the crew's got to help you pay for it or something like that. So just go ahead and type that in right above where it says vice.
I should be honest, I have made an attempt to read these rules, so
okay.
They are very dense.
They are, and they take a little bit of play, I found, to kind of get the flow of them.
Especially all the clocks and stuff are very impenetrable.
Yeah. Once we get into
the clocks, you can mostly ignore.
Yeah.
That's mostly only Rye's going to have to track clocks usually.
Yeah. So, all right. Okay, last step is for you to record your name, alias, and look. So those are all up in the top left corner of your character sheet. Richard, as far as your name and alias go, those are pretty straightforward. But your look, if you just want to jot down 3 to 4 words, kind of, or a sentence or two about what your character looks like, there's no specifics there on what it has to be. All right, so take another minute or two to work on that, and then once you're done, just go ahead and give me a wave or let me know you're done, and we'll have people, I think, introduce their characters, and then I think we'll take a 10-minute break after we've done quick character introductions. And what I think we'll do after that is jump into play, see what your crew is all about, and then maybe do 30, 45 minutes of play and get into some trouble. And then we'll come back in the last 30, 40 minutes. We can also finish up creating the ship for the crew once we know kind of what you guys are about a little bit. So yeah, so just let me know when you're ready, and then when everybody's ready, we'll do quick introductions. All right, Richard, are you all set?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Stephen? Cool. Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. And Terry? Good, okay. Great. And then, Brian, are you going to go do an alias, or are you just going to go with the first name of your character?
I know I'm going to come up with something.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put it in the character title on the note when you get it there, but no worries. Okay. Great. Well, Richard, do you want to go ahead and give us a quick introduction, the two-minute spiel on your character here?
Okay. Yorick Mill, pilot. He's a paid-up guilder, member of the Pilots Guild, in good standing, more or less. His origin is a spacer, which I assume means that he was born in space, has lived in space, and his natural environment is space. Call sign Candyman, has issues with drugs and substances. Apart from that, I don't know if we need a rationale for why we're wanting to break somebody out, but I really like the idea of breaking out my former mentor, who I hate.
Okay, great. All right. Stephen.
Yeah, hey there. I'm playing Card Gen 13, Communications and Relations Story Generation 13, or Cardigan, as my associates like to call me. Not because of that title, but because I wear a lot of cardigans. I usually am wearing like 5 at any given time. I'm escaped Guild of Engineer property. I like wearing fanciful clothes and beautiful baubles that I entirely got through normal channels. Have no fear. I'm looking to help free an old guild member who created me and helped me escape from the Guild of Engineers, Manda, who's being held at the prison.
Fantastic. Brian.
I am Kenzie Duncan. She goes by Ro. She is part of a family of clones who specialize in biological sciences and medicine. And I think her younger brother has got himself into trouble. Just got to get him out.
Great. Terry.
I am playing Damien Tegram. My alias is Headliner. I actually get that alias from the newspapers and such that I'm constantly studying. And I dressed in work boots, they're not done up, red and black leather jacket, leather pants, black shirt. Pretty much all the time. I probably have, 4 or 5 of the same sets of outfit. And,
but we must get you more. If you do not have more than at least 10 sets. Sorry, go ahead.
My vice is weird.
But I'm still of the opinion, if you do not have at least 10 sets of outfits, how do you possibly express yourself?
In space, it's never cold.
Oh, I don't express myself through my clothing. I express myself through my studical knowledge.
We will get you some new clothes when we next take
point.
All right. And who are you?
Who I'm trying to rescue is a woman I'm in love with. Not necessarily that she's in love with me.
All right, perfect. So we've got our crew here. We've got our pilot, our mystic, our Stitch, and we're missing one. Our speaker. There we go. So what I'd like to do is take a 10-minute break, and then what I was thinking of doing tonight is basically doing your breakout of the prison and see how that goes, and then see where we end up. And then we will come back, and I think the last 30 or 40 minutes of the session we'll work on putting the ship together. So why don't we come back at 5 past the hour. Cool. I'm glad you just ran a big campaign of this, Stephen. You can help me with all the rules, because it's been a while. It's been a little bit since I've run it, and there were always a couple of things that I goofed up, I feel like. So
Yeah.
and there's like I feel like there's a bunch of like little rules that are kind of snuck in here and there, and those ones are always
there are definitely bits when I was playing it in the end that I felt like some of it was kind of holdovers from Blades in the Dark that didn't really need to be there. Like I found vice purveyors in particular, it's like when you're like living in a single city, like returning to the same vice purveyor makes sense, but often characters would be on a new system, and it's just kind of like, well, how do we fit the vice purveyor in here?
Yeah.
Even the friends and allies and enemies doesn't quite work as easily, because if they're are they just somehow always in whatever system you're in?
Yeah, I just kind of pulled them in the last couple of games I was running. When I needed someone to come in with something interesting, that's when I kind of pulled them in. But all right.
Yeah, I mean, the friends typically just get used to booster downtime action rolls, and but yeah, when you're running the game, bringing in their enemies as complications can be a lot of fun.
All right, everyone's back. We will see where we go now. So the place I was thinking of starting you all was you have a contact in Isotropomax and Cure, and you have a plan. But the way that Scum and Villainy and Blades in the Dark work is that you guys choose with that plan, and we roll a die, and then we're in the middle of it. We don't spend a lot of time figuring out what that plan totally looks like. So we'll do our engagement roll. So I have a little bit of flavor text I was going to read, and then talk through our plan, and then we have to kind of figure out your loadouts and a couple other minor details. But then we'll jump to the engagement roll and just get this story started. So your contact, Major Drillian, has sent you the all clear sign. It's go time. Sweat and pounding hearts and measured breaths will accompany you from here on out. Ahead of you, silhouetted against the star Breck like a giant silver diamond, hangs Isotropomax secure. Its gleaming sides hide the corruption and rot hidden within. If all goes right, in a few hours you'll be back on board your ship with those you have come for, and you'll be able to watch the giant prison recede from the navigation screen as you fly towards a brighter tomorrow. If it goes wrong, you'll likely never leave. So, you have 6 options for how you plan on getting your creator, your mentor, your younger brother, and the woman you are in love with out of here. And they are to assault. Also, I think they're on your character sheets here. Bottom right, there's a planning and load section, and there's the 6 of them are listed there. But there's assault, and you'll have to give me the point of attack. There is to deceive someone, and you'll have to kind of tell me what your method of deception is. Infiltration, what the entry point is. Using mystic and arcane power. Social, you have some sort of social connection here, maybe a bribe or something like that. And transport, maybe you know secret tunnels or the air vents on how to get in and get your people out. So why don't we just take a second and think about which one is interesting to you, and if anyone has a suggestion, go ahead and throw it out. We can kind of talk that through for a couple minutes, and once we decide on that and your detail, we will get going. And then I'm going to, as we go into the prison and start meeting these people that you're trying to pull out, I'll ask you some more detailed questions and kind of flesh that out a little bit more. But any ideas on your plan of engagement here? Do you want this to be a social kind of talk through mission? Do you want to go in guns blazing? What are some ideas?
I believe that if we were to pose as bounty hunters of some sort, that they may allow us to board this. That they may allow us at least to board the station. At which point we can wing it from there.
I like that plan. It's not too complicated. 2 steps.
If you would like to fill in any further steps, feel free.
No. 2 steps are fine.
Ah,
It cannot go wrong.
I'm sure I can pass as a bounty hunter.
Which of us has to pass as a bounty?
Could we be here to pick up a bounty? I don't know. What about transport? We could be. Well, I can't see the difference between transport and infiltration, actually, in this case. So, no. No, I like it.
Okay. So you are bounty hunters, and are we going to do infiltration? So the point of infiltration, or do you want to do transport? Kind of the.
Or is this deception?
It might be, yeah, probably deception, yeah. And the method of deception will be bounty hunting. Then I guess you are. Are you dropping off or picking up a bounty?
Picking up.
Picking up and transporting a bounty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you wished, I could pose as a bounty. I am, after all, escaped. I am, after all, technically not a criminal. Well, not in this system, at least. But I am escaped property.
I think you're complicating it too much.
I don't think
like
we
the
want to draw
easy 2
attention to you.
steps. And I think the 2-step plan which you came up with first was much simpler.
Okay. All right. Then let's do one thing of paperwork here. So, Richard, since you haven't played before, the way that equipment works in Scum and Villainy is at the beginning of each mission, if you look right under where it says pilot, there's some boxes that say load. 3 is light, 5 is normal, and 6 is heavy. You choose at the beginning of the mission which one of those it is. And then anytime throughout the mission, you get to check a box on any of the items that are listed there, and you have that item with you. So you don't have to pick ahead of time what your gear is. You're assumed to be capable and competent, and you would have brought what you need. So, for example, if you took 3 light, that means you're pretty much dressed in normal clothing. Maybe you have a blaster pistol on your side or something like that. Normal might have some light armor to it, and 6 is heavy armor. That's basically like your assault trooper or something like that. So just click whichever one of those it is you would like.
I favour heavy because we are going into a maximum security place, and we are legitimately arriving here to pick up a dangerous person, perhaps.
Okay, so just go ahead.
Yes, legitimate. Continue to use words like that while we have our conversations with them.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, everyone just go ahead and check your box there. And then I need to give you guys a couple of gambits. I can't remember.
Oh, just so you know, Richard, that your loadout does affect how fast you can move.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of think
all right, then maybe normal.
Yeah, normal is about as heavy as you can go without like it really hindering you. But light is generally like you look like an average civilian.
Yeah, we don't want that.
All right. I will start you guys out with 2 gambits. That may change once we get to ship creation, etc. A gambit, Richard, is basically a bonus die that anyone can use at any time. So I will just make a note that you guys have 2. And if anyone's hard up for some dice at any point, you can use one of those. All right. Okay, great. So now we need to make what's called an engagement roll, and this will set the fictional positioning for where we start our first scene. The way that dice work in this system, Richard, I'm sure you read through the rules, but basically we'll create dice pools. You'll roll. A 6 is a very total success. A 4 and a 5 is a mixed result. And a 1 to 3 is a bad result. So whatever the highest die is in your die pool will be the outcome there. We start off with
I
1.
should note that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you should note that, like, even a 0 does not mean that you can't do it, but it just means that you are worse at. It just means that you can do it, but your chances of succeeding are lower.
Yeah, and we'll go over that when it comes time for you to make some rolls and kind of the specifics of that, Richard. But for the engagement roll, we start off with 1 die for sheer luck. I would say this is particularly bold and daring, showing up at a giant prison and pretending to be bounty hunters, so we'll give you 2 dice for that. I don't think we have any vulnerabilities of the target, so nothing there. And then, does anybody feel like any of their contacts might be able to provide you an extra die to aid to start off?
My contact is literally locked up in the prison. So.
Okay. No. Yeah. Okay.
Mine might be able to, depending on if you're going to allow me that portion of the story that I sent you in the email, or.
Okay. So this is another mystic within the prison. Tell me how that their knowledge, like how are they? Would they help you in this situation to know where to come? Whatever.
Through our conversation, she would have been in different areas of the prison, so we'd at least have some of the layout of how to get in and out.
Okay. And when you guys communicate, is it visual? Is it just words? How is that? Happen?
It's back and forth, our visions.
Okay. So you've actually seen parts of the prison from the inside?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll go, that was 1, 2, 3 dice.
As part of our setup for this, can we have our particular people, basically lined up for transport? Because, otherwise we're going to have to search. If Major Julian can have them prepared for us, then that helps.
Yeah, well, let's roll and see where we're at.
Goes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's 3. Who would like to
roll? Oh, I just rolled. Sorry.
No, that's good. And I think you used the fortune roll for this, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
And then Richard, in roll 20, you can see the die rolls. I think you probably know that. But... All right. So what do we got here? A 5, a 3, and a 4. Okay. So a mixed result. So you'll start in a risky position when the action starts. Okay. So you have gotten the all clear sign from Major Drillian. You have a transport ship, I think a little smaller vessel that kind of docks within your bigger ship, and you fly down towards this huge hulking space prison. There is kind of a multiple smooth panels, which are docking bays, and one of them kind of splits in half. You see lights flashing within, warning people that it's opening. You dock your small vessel in there, and you step out into an airlock. Just real quick, are you guys wearing kind of space gear or just kind of your normal everyday clothes? Do you have like air tanks and stuff, or you think you're just everyday clothes?
Well,
Everyday
I have
clothes.
changed. Well, I have changed from my nice to meet you mask, since I don't have emotive expressions, to my I'm intimidating mask.
Is there a cardigan that goes with that?
Oh, of course. I only wear the most aggressive prints.
Great. All right. Terry, I assume, let's see, I got to get,
I've done up my work boots.
Ro is laced up the boots. Is
That's
it Rao or Ro?
I'm headliner.
Oh, headliner, sorry. Headliner.
And it's Ro.
Ro, okay, great. Thanks for, you've laced up the boots. Okay, great. And Ro, anything specifically you're doing to be intimidating here?
Recognizably, like the I guess maybe the medic of the group, but maybe I suppose looking more like a combat medic than normal.
Okay.
To sell the bounty.
Okay, great. Great. So you step out into the airlock, and a small white orb attached to the ceiling flashes blue around the edge and lights up. And a small voice, kind of electronic robotic voice, comes out and says, "Follow me, please. I will be your glide guide here within Isotropomax Secure. Do not deviate from the path, and you may call me Susan if you have any questions on the way to meeting Major Drillian." And it starts sliding down the corridor.
Greetings. I am Bart, bounty hunting and retrieval transport.
Oh, it is fantastic to meet you, Bart. I have never met one of your model before. Where were you developed?
I was developed in core world, jurisdiction classified.
Quite interesting. I see, Bart, that you also engage in the uncomfortable habit of wearing clothing. Can you please provide me a little bit of background on why you do this? Are you ashamed of your original stock components?
I wear the pelts of my human quarry.
Oh, that is quite horrific.
I mean, technically, when I say pelts, they are just like their clothes, is what he's saying.
Yes, of course. The robot kind of hits, it's going down in this track in the ceiling, and it kind of sticks for a second as you say pelts, and then it keeps going as if you just startled it. And it leads you into a holding cell. It is a two-part cell. There is a one-way force field that you can see through, dividing the room into two. You're entering on one side. There is a large silver desk at the back of the room, and a very large kind of heavily built man with coppery red hair and a small scar over one of his eyes, in the military gear, which I posted in kind of the background here in Roll20, this red uniform. He's got his helmet off. He's kind of standing there with both his fists on the table and staring at all of you as you march in following Susan here. Beyond the shiny, shimmery force field are a number of folks that you recognize. Candyman, can you tell me here, who is your former mentor? Is it a man, woman, someone else, a robot?
I'm thinking an older woman.
Okay. And do you have a name for them?
Well, in fact, they're on my character sheet here, and they're called Mav. A former mentor.
Okay, great. What dirt does Mav have on you?
Oh, well, so much. Um, especially the piece wherein I dumped her and left her to be arrested here.
Okay.
Not to mention, the other bits and pieces that we don't talk about in polite society.
Great. Fantastic.
She may hold a grudge.
All right. And what crime are they accused of? Is Mav what crime is she accused of?
Smash and grab on a drugstore. I just happened to be wearing her clothes on the day.
Oh, okay. So they have video
I was
footage.
in disguise.
Yes. Okay. So Mav
I
is
question the wisdom of your life decisions, Candyman.
yes.
Also, I used her ID.
Okay. Great. So Mav is sitting there.
And I wink broadly at her.
Well, she can't. She doesn't react. She doesn't seem like she can see you. She is kind of sitting there, staring at the ceiling. Every once in a while, kind of looks over at the three other beings on the other side of the wall there. Cardigan, your creator is Manda. Is that right?
Yes, Manda, one of the foremost minds on Urbot engineering in the galaxy. After all, she constructed myself.
Exactly. Foremost. Why is it dangerous if Manda gets out of prison?
Well, of course, the Guild of Engineers does not take kindly to scientists who decide that there are ethical problems of creating robotic slave races for the Empire.
And
And she perhaps has some command override keys for any inbuilt command systems that restrain said Urbots.
Excellent. That was going to be my next question. So, is it part of your code actually to come and free Manda, or is this a free choice?
No, Manda being the foremost ethical and moral mind in the galaxy, of course decided to create me with free will.
Okay. Great. All right. And the crime that Manda is accused of?
Stealing company property, i.e. myself.
Great. Ro, was it your younger brother or sister that's here?
Younger brother,
And name?
Arthur,
Arthur.
although his alias would be Raven.
Okay. Ro, when is the last time that you and Raven spoke?
Well, I think our family is not based in the Procyon sector, so it would have been when he left. He was sent to the Procyon sector to kind of scout it out, look at the family was looking to maybe change home base, and he was sent ahead, and then got himself into trouble. So it would have been, right before he left.
Okay, great. And how long has Ro been locked up?
As soon as word got back to the family, and then I was sent to, try and track him down. So probably not too long. It would have taken a while for news to get back, and then for me to get here and meet up with other folks to plan this prison break. So it's been a little while.
Oh, it's like a year? 6 months?
It's probably getting close to a year, maybe, but say 8 months.
And I forgot to ask, he, him pronouns for Raven?
For Raven, yes.
And for Manda, Cardigan, pronouns he, him, they, them, she, her,
She, her.
she, her. Okay. All right. Headliner. Here she is. This woman that you have had visions with from across the galaxy. What's her name and what does she look like?
Her name is Maria Forte, and she's, well, I'm guessing right now she's probably in some kind of jumpsuit, but she has long brown hair, and she has green eyes, and she is in prison for escaping from an experimental from a facility that experiments on those with the way. And during her escape, she caused some harm.
Why did you decide to rescue her now as opposed to earlier or later?
Well,
is she coming up on a sentence?
I didn't feel I could do it on. Yeah, she's about to be executed, and I also didn't feel that I could do it alone, so I needed to find other people to do it with me.
All right. And last question for you, Headliner. Tell me just real quick about the first communication you had. What were you doing? What did you guys talk about?
Well, I was sitting in the lunchroom at work, and it was while she was going by in her, after being arrested and being taken to the prison in a vehicle, she was just reached out. It was almost like she was reaching out to anyone who could actually hear her, and I happened to hear her, so we started talking back and forth on her way in, and that's how I found out where she was going. And from there, we were able to talk back and forth.
Okay, great.
So it's probably been
I think she's
3 months.
Yeah, I think she looks thin, nervous. You can tell she's been chewing her nails. Scared. Here she is. She pulled out of herself for no reason, lined up with these 4 other people who she's never met before. And the 4 of you get led in by Susan, who chimes in a very cheery voice. Welcome. Here is Major Drillian. He requested that I bring you here. He also had these others brought here. I hope you have a pleasant day. And Susan zips out of the room. Richard, what does it smell like in this holding cell?
Disinfectant.
Okay. And Terry, tell me a sign that you can see that violence has recently been committed on the other side of the force field.
It smells like disinfectant, but there's still a couple of teeth on the ground. And
Hey.
I think they need new cleaning robots here.
Yeah. Oh, maybe the cleaning robot's missing a. It's like it's missing its brush or something. It needs to be repaired. Okay. Oh, that's gruesome. Ro, as you enter and you see this hulking Major Drillian here behind this desk, who just spreads out this shit-eating grin as you come in, tell me something else about him that kind of makes you hate him.
Um, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. What?
Think about it for a second. Cardigan, when you come into the room and you see this big military man behind the desk, tell me something about him that makes you think that you'll be able to trust him if he gives you his word on something. Is it the set of his jaw? Is it something in his eyes? What is it you kind of see about him? Or have you had previous communication with him somehow? He's your contact here. He let you guys enter the space station. What is it about him that makes you think you can trust him?
Oh. I believe that he is one of those organics who seems to be perennially unaware of the art of lying. I'm always quite surprised. After all, you can say literally anything. I do not know why you expect people to say true things.
Perfect. Okay. Ro, what makes you hate him? Is it?
He's wearing a piece of jewelry that belonged to my brother.
Okay.
A ring.
So, Major Drillian looks at you. Which one of you is kind of in charge in the front? I guess is that Candyman, since you're the pilot. Cardigan, are you in the lead since you're the speaker here?
I mean, I'd probably take the lead unless somebody had a particularly, because I've been talking a lot this session. So if somebody wanted to step forward now.
I like Candyman. He is, after all, the bounty hunting and retrieval transport unit. So if he doesn't know what we're doing, then also his plan, her plan, their plan. Sorry, their plan.
Yeah, who? So what's this guy's name again?
Major Drillian. He's got this big grin on his face, and he's just fingering that ring on his finger. He's just spinning it around as you come in. And he says, "Thank you, Susan. You must be Cardigan."
I don't think I would have mentioned my name was Cardigan to this guy.
Okay.
I think I've already, like, can I make it just a flashback, like one stress, just to say, like, I've already established myself as Bart here.
Sure. Yeah, Bart. Sorry. Yes. Don't even worry about the stress.
Okay.
I should have called you Bart.
Greetings. I am Bart. Bounty hunting and retrieval transport.
Yes, Bart. I'm sure that's your real call sign there, isn't it? Well, I'm glad the four of you could drop in and that we can work out this little deal here. The thing is I'm not sure I like the deal that we spoke of before. I think we need to amend it a little bit. See, I did some digging, and he spins the ring a little bit on his finger again. And let's just say these four here are valuable. They're part of my quota, one could say. I'm looking to move up in the world, and I think you all can help me. But if you want to just keep the deal as it is, we can discuss that as well.
Cool. Can I flash back to have studied up on this guy before coming on the ship?
Sure. Yeah. You want to do a gather information roll?
Yeah.
All right. Let me grab those here.
Can I assist, possibly having help go through the paperwork or checked in any headlines possibly on this guy? Because that's just what I do. I study people.
Sure. Yeah. Mark a stress and Cardigan. You'll grab.
How much stress should I mark to do this?
I think this is just just one stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason we don't come up with the full plan beforehand, Richard, is that we can do things like this, where we can say, actually, we've already done this in the past before coming here.
Yeah. And so if you at any point, thank you for that, Stephen. If at any point, Richard, you want to say, oh, I would have thought of this. My character would have thought of this. I want to do a flashback and have put a gun under this table. You just say that. You want to do that, and then it'll cost 1 to 3 stress depending on how much of a crazy idea it was, and it may require a roll here or there, but you can do that, and then that'll become part of the fiction.
Yep.
So,
in general, I find anytime you're in a situation where you're just like, oh crap, how the hell am I going to get out of this? You go, oh yeah, we can flash back and come up with something.
Great. All right, Stephen. Anything else you want to do with that roll? Do you want to? What are you using here?
Basically, I want to see what family or personal relations might show up in files and stuff. I think I'm doing a study going through like Headliner said, kind of headlines and articles, because he's a fairly important official here in the Procyon sector. He's the head of a tier something faction.
Right. Well, he's not. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he's not the head.
We'll get to that depending on what you're. How many details here? So study. You have 2 and +1 from Headliner.
And we're just treating this as a fortune roll, or do we have a position effect here?
Just a fortune roll.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
3 dice and 2 3 2s. That's wow. Okay.
I mean, a fortune roll at the very least just means I get crap information.
Yeah. So it turns out the hierarchy within the prison is classified information, and the only thing you were able to get your hands on was an outdated flowchart of that hierarchy. And this was probably 3 years old. And he wasn't even a major drillion yet then. He was just like a grunt here. So I think the useful thing that you get out of this is within the last 3 years, this guy has made it come up.
Yeah.
And
so yeah,
it probably hasn't been through hard work.
Yeah. So yeah, I say, I understand. We have been instructed to keep this under the tightest of information security, but our team answers directly to the hegemon. Now we understand that you are an up and rising official within the hegemony security forces. Aid us in returning these important prisoners to the hegemonic officials in the core worlds, and the hegemon will see to it that you will see transfer
Benefits?
to a more central, far more luxurious posting than a large space station housing fringe world criminals.
Okay, I think you need to make a roll for this. I think there's probably a sway.
Yeah. So I'm going to push myself. Does anybody want to help out here?
Sure, I understand what you're doing. I'm happy to help you out because I even have a bit of sway. I can see where this is going.
Okay, so Candyman, what are you going to say? You're going to add one stress on your sheet. It's kind of like over by your name. You see the stress bar there.
Yep.
So just click one stress in there. What are you going to do to what are you going to say or do to kind of back up Bart here?
Okay. Well, I think I will step up behind Bart, and basically put my hand on their back and say something along the lines of, we're authorized to help this man out. Something along that. Basically back up his story with vague promises of future goodness.
Yeah, and this feels like it's a good point to also spend a gambit. This is pretty like possibly getting our crew, the people we came for, like in our custody at least.
Okay. All right.
So I'm rolling.
So that's 3 dice, or
position and effect.
So you are in a risky position. This is going to be our first roll here. So you're starting off in a risky position. Is this standard or is this limited? I think we'll just start off standard. See where we go from here.
Okay, actual.
A 5. Okay. Let's see here. What do we want to do? All right. So, and just to give Richard a little bit of background too. So, there's position and effect, and so I was the GM before each roll. I'll say you're either in a desperate position, a risky position, or a controlled position, and you can bump those around a little bit using your stress, or you can trade effect and position a little bit. We can get into that a little more, but basically what that means is if you're in a desperate position and you roll a bad outcome, it's going to be really bad. If you're in a controlled position and you roll a bad outcome, the outcome's not going to be that bad. And risky's kind of in the middle. And then the effect is you can have limited effect, standard effect, great effect. So if you were trying to fight 20 guys with a stick, you're going to have no effect, right? But if you're going to fight 20 guys with a rocket launcher, okay, maybe you have standard or great effect or something like that. So kind of taking into that fictional positioning as we go forward. Likewise, if you were going to pick a lock, you guys are kind of scrappy, just starting out your crew here. So you're a level 1 crew. But if you're trying to pick the most complicated security system in the galaxy, it's going to be really high up there. You're going to have very limited effect. It's going to be really hard for you to get through there without bumping it up somehow. Okay, so you had a 5 outcome. So he smiles and he says, Bart, we don't have to lie to each other here. I know you're not from the Hegemon. I couldn't give a shit, really. What I want is power. What I want is control. What I want is more for me and mine. And you can help me get that. So these people, I did a little bit of digging when you came in. Found out that you'd been digging a little bit on me. So I think it's all fair here. We know who we're dealing with. I'm happy to hand your friends over here, Bart. But I need something more than just cash. Cash I can squeeze out of almost anyone. But a ragtag band of folks willing to risk their lives for their loved ones, well, they could get desperate. They could do things that normal people won't do. For instance, they could capture a giant alien on an untamed world for me and bring it back in a stasis chamber so that I can give it to my boss. Because my boss knows the people that can get me out of this stupid, tedious, shitty space station prison here. So what do you think? Are you up for some adventure, or what are we in for here?
Sounds good to us, I just launch into. Just agreed.
Okay. Candyman's
We get to take them
all
with
in.
us now.
Yep.
Do you get to take them with you now? Well, I was going to have you roll a die and pick one or two that you could take with you now. And the other two could stay here with me, and I'll make sure that their accommodations are improved.
So I don't want to like. What was the effect of my actual like success here?
That he's willing to give you some of them now, but there's a complication. He wants something.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to make a counter proposal, if you want to try to push this, I can let you roll again. I think it would probably go up to a desperate.
I'll say, very well, we have a deal. And I kind of make a gesture over at the rest of you that like wait until he opens the force field.
All right, we have a deal. And he looks to you, Ro, and he says, who would you like to take with you? Which of these four? You've been quiet in the back there.
I think it's fairly obvious what my preference would be. And I think, Ro and Raven look like obviously related, incredibly similar. So there's no guessing who Ro's here for.
Okay. And you, my friend in the back, these two have been doing all the talking. I think you should get a say, too. Who would you like to take with you?
Is that me?
Yes, to headliner, sorry.
Well, I would like this lovely young lady over here to come to accompany me. It's her staying here is, her days are kind of numbered. I'd rather her not be in that particular situation for too long.
Such a sweet sentiment. Very well. He walks over. You notice...
If he's distracted at all, I want to do something.
Yeah, he turns away from you to thumb the keypad on the wall. What are you going to do, Ro?
I want to try to inject him with something.
Ooh. Fantastic. What are you injecting him with?
Okay, here's the story I want to tell him, and how true or not it is, we can figure out as well. I want to inject him with something and then pull out 3 other syringes and tell him that if he wants to live, he's going to need to inject these 3 things in the right order. And I'm not telling him what order that is until all 4 of these prisoners are leaving with us.
Okay, so I think you need to mark some gear here.
Sure.
Syringes and applicators, probably.
Yeah.
And what is this going to be? Are you sneaking up on him? Are you charging him? How is this? How are you going to get to him?
I guess this would be a scope, because, I'm trying to just wait for that moment when he's not looking and get it in him before he notices.
Okay. So you've got 1 in Skulk. Are you going to take 2 stress? Would you like I can also offer you always, of course, a devil's bargain.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to think one of those up.
Those are always great. Let's see.
I mean, I'll throw in a. I'm continuing to talk, keeping a distraction going. I'm throwing in taking a stress to help you
Okay.
as well.
There's two. Okay.
We still have the gambit dice if you feel like getting this guy, getting the rest of our loved ones out is important enough. But up to you.
And I'm going to push myself. I think I could use my starting ability to roll Doctor instead of Skull, but I think it's essentially the same as pushing myself for an extra die. So.
Yeah.
But you get to push yourself. You get the base effect of pushing yourself as well. That gives you a bonus effect, basically.
Yeah, I know there are some abilities that work that way. It's not clear.
All of them work that way. If it says you push yourself and you do this, pushing yourself always gives you the base effect. I'm pretty certain they do, at least, but I can look it up.
I think that's one of the things in Scum and Villainy is they actually didn't word it so that it's as clear as it's supposed to be. Because I know there's at least some of them they didn't want to do that.
Yeah. It seems like you get a pretty good benefit from just pushing yourself to be able to roll that, because it, but Stitch is always going to have a lot in Doctor.
Yeah. Assuming I'm going to up Doctor to 3 at some point, which is
right.
It gets better. So I think it's probably good enough with it not doing that.
So are you going to push yourself to get your 2 dice and then that's 3?
And then we do have a gambit.
And Cardigan is continuing to distract, so that's 3.
Is this risky still, or is this?
This is going to be desperate. I'm
going to spend the gambit.
Charging an unarmed, or you're charging a military trained man with a syringe, and you got to get it in the right spot.
Yep.
If you get a 6, you get it back.
Yeah,
on a desperate.
No, not if you spent one.
And
not on
a desperate. Yeah.
On a desperate though, you do mark XP.
Oh, that's right, because he's
XP. Yeah.
There's a scoundrel ability where you would get one on desperates and if you spend one. Standard effect?
Yeah.
So I've got 3 bonus dice.
You have 2.
I pushed, and I spent a gambit, and I got an assist.
So are we giving you a bonus dice for the push, I guess is the question.
Well, I'm just pushing for an extra die.
Oh,
I'm not using the special ability. That would basically do.
Okay, you're just using steady. Okay.
Yes.
Or sorry, scramble. Skulk. Yeah. Okay, so skulk, assist, gambit, and push.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
A 6. All right. So you do it. Tell me what this looks like. Or what is yeah.
I mean, like you said, this is a trained military guy. So as soon as I get it in and inject it, he's whipping around, grabbing me by the neck, by the collar, and shoving me against the wall. But then I'm just holding up the other syringes and kind of giving them a shake. And you're going to want to know what order to inject these, because if you get it wrong, it's going to go very badly for you.
Yeah, I think he's just what the fuck did you put in me? And it takes him a minute to not kill you. He has to you watch the gears in his head just crunching off the teeth as he just wants to just snap your neck. And he's just ugh. And then he just throws you down onto the ground or onto the no, I think what he does is he smashes your hand up against the wall and he starts squeezing your wrist. He's you tell me right now what order I gotta put him in.
I draw a gun. I suggest that you release him. Otherwise, we may not need to wait for the poison to take effect.
Okay, great.
And I'm waving the people out.
Okay. They hobble out. They've still got their foot and hand these glowing electric blue bracelets on, and they kind of hobble past the line of the force field. But you got a 6, so this is a success. Make sure you mark the prowess. Oh yes, you got it. Okay. He says, "Okay, fine. You can take them all with you now. What order would I got to inject these things?" He's
We
looking at
shall
you.
inform you once we are at the station.
Let's see.
I'm very glad that I'm on relaxants at the moment.
Don't worry, assassinating a major is of no interest to us.
Plus, I'm pretty certain that he
not
just
looking
injected
to-
him with water, so
All right.
with like saline solution.
I'm just trying to think. Do you guys feel like this requires one more roll to get out of here, or do you feel like the skulk?
I think it definitely requires a roll to get out of here.
All right, so he's got you pinned against the wall. He's trying to squeeze these things out of your hand, but he's got a gun on him, and your people are out from behind the thing. Headliner, what are you doing?
While he's got him against the wall, I'm gonna see if I can find, like, are these like a key release? What kind of release are these?
They are a thumbprint release here.
Okay.
Or they're like a code release based on a person's fingerprint.
Okay.
So you have to be like a certain rank to be able to unlock them.
So I'm gonna look over at Ro and I'm gonna say, Ro, let's get him to get, these released. You tell him, and we'll be able to walk out of here.
Okay. Ro, are you gonna say anything to this guy? He's just fuming, like knows he doesn't have the upper hand here, but is not sure if he's gonna do something desperate or not in a last ditch attempt to get things to go his way.
I mean, like, I could try commanding him into like falling in line.
I would assist you in that. I mean, that makes sense.
Cool.
Or Candyman, is there anything you think you could do to push him over the edge?
No, I think I'm going to start organizing these people to be moving away.
Okay.
With my thing. Hey, old lady, and I'll push and put them all towards the door.
Okay. All right. Cardigan, what are you going to say to Major Drillian here?
We only have need of your hand, Major. Do not make us take it with us.
Okay. Jeez. All right. Give me a command.
Cardigan is a character actor, okay?
Also, he knows you can replace stuff.
That's
As
right.
I said, you can say anything. Like, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They're just words.
I'm using my fine bedside manner as I assist you, and I'm like assuring him that I don't, I'm a doctor. I don't actually want to do harm. He will give you the instructions, and you're not going to suffer any ill offense.
Yeah, can I like, I have an idea for a devil's bargain that, like, I will have personally pissed this guy off and he's going to want back at me with all this.
Yeah, I think that what that equates to is like.
I'll add him as another rival.
Yeah, you can add him as an enemy for sure, but I think also I think it'll probably be 2 heat in the system.
Sure. Cool. So I'm rolling 3 dice because you are helping me. Cool. And position and effect here.
I think this is risky standard. I think we'll go with that. It's not totally under control, but you do have your gun on him, so. that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, and I rolled a 4.
4. Okay. Sure. He says, fine. I'll unlock the ones I can. But, Mr. Manda there, I ain't got the clearance on that one. So good luck getting those cuffs off her. She's going to be living in those for the rest of her life. And he kind of like pushes Ro, finally rips the syringes out of your hand, Ro, pushes you away, and unlocks the other 3, Raven, and Maeve, and Maria Forte. But he walks over to Mana, and he's like, see? And he puts his thumbprint on, and it just flashes red.
Very well, Miss Manda. I shall be carrying you.
Excellent. All right. So I assume you guys just head back to the spaceship and get out of there?
Yep.
Okay. As you step out in the hallway, Susan says, hello, I hope you had a quite pleasant meeting with Major Drillian. He is one of my favorite up-and-coming majors here in the station. Always full of interesting things to say, sometimes a bit gruff, but this way, back to your ship. And they zip ahead of you down the hallway, and as you are in the airlock, Susan flashes kind of a purple, sad color and says, Manda, please come back for me. You've been so nice to have around. It's rare to find one of the fleshy ones that understand us here. Good luck. And you guys get on board your ship. All right. Let's take a 10-minute break. So come back at 15 after, and we will put your ship together.
Okay.
That went better than I thought. To do the job for him.
Yes, congratulations, Miss Rowe, on your fast thinking.
Wasn't leaving anyone there.
No, it was good.
Ooh, that's chilling.
All right. So we'll wait for our Candyman to get back. Our next step is going to be to choose a ship.
And we find out if we were lying about being bounty hunters.
We can, we can find out if you guys were actually bounty hunters lying about that or not. Yeah, cool. All right. So I just wanted to do one thing real quick. Richard, if you look in Roll20,
Yep.
one of the other kind of interesting mechanical things that is part of Scum and Villainy is they have these, and Blades in the Dark, factions. And so these are all the factions, kind of stock factions in the game. There's the Hegemony, which is kind of the Imperial
I don't know
Legion.
about everyone else, but I can't see that.
Yeah, I can only see ship at the moment.
I hit
You have to
show.
give us control so we can see the actual
Oh, is it?
character sheet page.
Maybe I hid that one. I don't know. Can be edited. It should be an all players journal.
Yeah, but it can't be edited by us.
It's just
You need
visible.
to make it editable by us.
Yeah. So you should be able to look at it.
No, but the thing is, all that information, it's in the character sheet. It's not in the bio info. If it's only visible, all you can see is bio and info.
Thank you. Hold on. We'll put all players here. Okay, try this again. Show players. If you look at the character sheet and factions and you switch it over, if there's a button at the top of the character sheets where you can switch between character, ship, and faction if you go to faction mode.
Yep, found that, yep.
So there you can see in the Breck system now you have 2 heat. I think probably after this you have a -1 with Isotropamax Secure, which is your relationship with them. And these are just all the factions around. So these will kind of play a small role when we start working on the ship here. So last thing to do tonight, wherever you are, is to choose what kind of ship we want to work with. And this does not like totally limit the type of missions / adventures we'll be having, but it's just kind of each ship is kind of designed with certain things in mind. So there are 3 options to start with, which is the Star Dancer, the Cerebus, and the Fire Drake. The Star Dancer is for smugglers and blockade runners looking to do odd jobs, small thefts, and find lost items. The Cerebus is extraction specialist looking to find missing people, items, and claim bounties. And the Fire Drake is for rebels and criminals looking to protect the downtrodden and fight the hegemony. I'm just going to hazard a guess. You guys are probably less interested in the Fire Drake since we talked about not doing big fight scenes. But if you do want to go that direction, that's totally cool too. So any thoughts on which one of those you'd kind of like to go towards?
We continue what we're doing. It's a Cerberus by the sounds of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a Cerebus?
I don't know. I was thinking a little bit more along the lines of smuggling, but
yeah, it's good for me.
Brian or Terry?
When I said I wasn't meaning completely no fights in space, just so you know that.
Yeah.
No big fights. What I was meaning is more not Rogue One-ish type stuff, like, right? So as far as I would go, I would think the Cerberus is what my goals for. Okay. Because it can actually do both.
Okay. Ro?
And
oh, sorry. Go. Sorry, Terry.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Brian, any thoughts?
Know that I have a strong preference either way.
Okay. So I'm hearing Cerberus or Star Dancer. Any?
I mean, I could do something with Cerberus. I don't think I don't think Cardigan wants to work with the hegemony.
Okay.
Doing non-official
okay.
doing illegal bounty hunting. That's fine with Cardigan.
Okay.
I'm easy with smuggling. Smuggling
I'll give you that.
is a lack of commitment, and that suits my character well.
I mean, like I said, I think that the Cerberus also has enough like it's not written in that you are pursuing hegemony bounties, but
all right. Is everyone okay with doing the Cerberus? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. We can add some extra modules here to push it in a little bit different direction if we need to too. So, okay. So I'll type that in over here. Hopefully, I will spell it right.
And you also need to make that one editable by us, otherwise we don't see the ship sheet.
Yes, okay. All right, try that there.
Yeah, now it's...
Cool. All right. So our next step is to choose a reputation. This is the easy step. Are you ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, strange, or subtle?
I like strange.
I mean, yeah, like, we have the mystic and a character actor robot.
All right, strange it is. Okay. So next is to customize your ship. Your ship begins with 2 cred in its hold and a few pre-selected ship systems. Choose 2 additional ship systems to improve. Your choices are engines, hull, comms, and weapons. You may instead improve your crew quality, but it'll cost your crew its starting cred. So your cred is already there. Do folks want to upgrade the crew, or do you want to upgrade systems?
Engines.
Engines?
The crew I should note is like, it represents the quality of all of the actual equipment on our character sheets. The higher it is, the better equipment we're able to like afford and kit ourselves out with on missions.
Right. And so that'll matter if you're going up against higher level.
Which we usually will.
Yeah. But you can also always get to improve your crew over time.
Yeah.
So it's a little. I feel like you have to play a lot of sessions to do that, but we can get there too. So I heard one call for engines though, from Candyman. Is that okay for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have currently nothing in the hull, but if you want to do weapons or comms, you could do something there too.
So I'm forgetting how the ship's hull works. Like, what does having no hull mean?
The things that go in the hull.
Like, I forget, like, it means that, like, if we take any damage to the hull, effectively the hull's breached?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because you can't soak any damage. Resist damage to firing. Yeah. Yeah.
We want hull then.
A little bit of hull here. Okay. All right. So, how did you get these? So you got an extra engines and extra hull. Let's see. Feel free to also suggest factions here, because I try to read through all the factions, but they all kind of blend together after a while. But do you think you got your extra engines from the hegemony, a criminal syndicate, or some sort of weird cult, or something like that?
Well, I believe that certain groups helped us in acquiring our engines from, or I forget. Is it just that somebody helped us, or is that? I think that's the.
So the first thing is just to determine kind of who it is, and then you got to determine if you paid them off and you gave them 1 cred, you owe them 1. So you have 1 status with them, or you stiffed them and you take -1 status.
Right, I forgot. That's the other thing that asks that you took it from someone.
Yeah. Brian or Terry?
So maybe the Bornico Syndicate.
Okay. Great. And Terry, do you think you stiffed them, or paid them off, or owe them 1? I can read about them if you want me to refresh your memory too. The Bornico Syndicate is a tightly knit group of thieves who steal high-end technological supplies. The guild hates these guys.
I think we probably paid them. It's good to be in good graces with some criminal types that might be willing to.
Yeah. You can also owe them one, in which case you have +1 status with them.
Oh, okay. And that basically means at some point they'll come calling and expect us to do a job for them.
Yep.
I'm fine with that if people are.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of owing.
Promising to pay later is always preferable to paying now.
All right. So that's a +1 there. And Terry, who do you think you guys got your hull improvements from? You have a preference there? Someone you'd like to be engaged with? Do you want to bring in something weird, something from the hegemony?
By the rules, I think we just get both of these from one faction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then the other statuses will be from the upgrades in our contract.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Those improvements. Sorry. Right. All right. So choose a special ability. On your ship, on the right-hand side, you'll see the special abilities. The Cerberus can be licensed, on the trail, light touch, snatch and grab, loaded for bear, play both sides, all those.
I mean, I feel like the way we've been playing things, snatch and grab, suits how we did our.
I was going to say that as well.
Yeah, and I am happy to read that broadly instead of like kidnapping to be kind of completing a job.
Or like also an exfiltration chapter.
Yeah. So, everyone happy with snatch and grab?
Yep.
Okay, bonus to the engagement roll, always helpful. Fantastic. All right, so now the complicated part of assigning upgrades. Each ship starts with pre-selected upgrades well suited for the crew. Those are all marked already. In addition, pick 2 more. These are all detailed in the PDF I sent you. They're kind of extensive, so if anyone has any, I was going to throw in one just for free because it gets kind of weird, I think, kind of without it, which is, where is it? The shuttle. So I'm going to throw in the shuttle for free, just so you guys have a shuttle, because we kind of already established that in the fiction. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, fictionally, it's that only one of the 3 ships is too large to dock with other ships on its own.
Okay.
Like, the other ones are all small enough that they can land planet side. Like this one and the freighter are small enough. It's only because it actually says in the actual PDFs their size rankings.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the reason that's the only one that has a shuttle by default, because the idea is it's just such a big ship.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm giving you a shuttle anyway. So.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that was why.
Okay.
We have a doctor, so perhaps we should have a medical bay.
Yeah, a medical bay is always useful for when people start getting harm. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Let's see, we upgraded the engines and the hulls, so we could get something for either of those. Afterburners, cloaking device, crew quarters.
Well, I'm a big fan of crew quarters. I ain't sharing no bedroom with you guys.
All right, let's do crew quarters. And I also, I don't know, I feel like so much good stuff happens in a galley that I kind of feel like it's weird that it doesn't have a galley if it has crew quarters, because like you guys got to eat somewhere, and like I feel like the Millennial Falcon, there was like they were always playing chess in the galley, and then on Firefly they were like always eating and silly stuff. So I'm happy to throw that one in too.
Sure.
But for the crew quarters and the medical bay, one faction helped you get an upgrade. You're on good terms. They like you. You get a +1 with them. You can spend a cred to get a +2. The other faction was screwed over when you got an upgrade. They don't like you, and you get a -2 status with them. At your option, you can spend a cred to mollify them and take -1 instead. So we need good terms and bad terms here.
I reckon the people we screwed over would have to be a hegemony sect, surely.
Okay.
Perhaps the Makers Guild.
The Makers Guild is more like they make clones.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe the Starsmiths Guild are the one that make like ship stuff.
We could also, the Mendicants are the like healers. We could have stole some medical supplies from the Mendicants.
Oh yeah, that sounds
Yeah, but
plausible.
they're like actually nice people.
Yeah.
Then they'll forgive us.
That could be the upgrade that we got from the group that likes us then.
Yeah.
And we could, what's the other
That
thing?
could be the medical bay.
And so then, the Starsmiths is who we stole our crew quarter upgrade from.
Okay. And the Starsmith Guild. And do you want to spend any cred to bump any of those in?
They just had a show floor with all this like shipyard, like spaceship furniture, and we just like came in like looking around and then just walked out with.
Or you
You show up with the clipboard and tell people to like load stuff up. They just
Yeah.
look to you,
or you provided them like a fake bank account or something that wasn't real. All right, great. Do you want to bump the Starsmith Guild up to a -1 and spend a cred, or do you want to hold on to your cred?
How much
I
cred do we
generally
have?
prefer to keep my cred,
All right, keeping cred.
but feel free to anyone else if they want. If they do not, it's a 8-session game. I generally think it's better to like keep people pissed off at us. It's better fiction.
All right.
I've been talking, and you guys haven't been hearing me. So.
Oh, sorry, Terry. Feel free to
apparently
do
my mic
anything and
switched on me.
everything we just did. So
Because for the ship, I was suggesting possibly the Hard Knocks, but I'm okay with what's been done. And as I was just wondering how much cred we had. Other than that,
yeah, two to start with.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I would say no. I don't want to spend any right now.
Okay. Hard Knocks is a module.
Yeah, and it would take both of our modules to have that. So
Oh, okay.
that's what the little like line between the boxes mean. You need to fill both.
Oh yeah, but your crew starts with +1 gametes. Extra gametes.
Because I was just thinking because it's an 8-session, and if we got it early and if
Yeah.
it's worth it, right?
Medical Bay is also really nice to have early, though, particularly once people start getting injured, because it means you have to do fewer downtimes getting people healed.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Last step here is a favorite contact. Over here we have is there a list of contacts here? Yeah, over on the right. Stacy Weathers, the Ace Reporter, Arlox, an Ashen Knives Pasha, Ishi, a weapons dealer, Lix, a Xeno tracker, and Jezri, a fixer.
I like Arlox or Jezri, or even Lix as well.
Terry? Since maybe we should let Terry jump in here.
Yeah, I was just throwing out some ideas.
We missed all his input.
Oh, it's just I just didn't realize that my mic had switched on me. I have multiple mics and it just switched.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised you still couldn't hear me though, because it's the one that's beside my head here.
Jeez. You have an opinion here?
So I'm thinking Lix is my enemy, so I don't really want that one.
Okay.
I almost think Stacy Weathers would be an interesting one.
Okay.
For us. I was trying to think of someone else that. Yeah. Either her or Jesri.
Okay. So, Brian, Stacy Weathers or Jesri?
Jesri.
Jesri. Okay. Cool. All right, Jesri, a fixer, and then I think that's her favorite contract. One faction is also friendly with this contact, and you get +1 status with them. One faction is unfriendly with this, and you get -1 status with them. So who is friendly with Jesri the Fixer here? Probably one of the criminal syndicates.
Maybe the Maelstrom. They're one of the major pirate groups.
Sure, yeah. All right, and who does not like Jesri? Fixer, probably it's the Hegemony.
Maybe, and again, I'm just throwing stuff out. So anybody else that has ideas, feel free. Maybe House Malclaith. They're the kind of they're nominally the law.
Sure, yeah, let's do that. Okay. So you guys are disliked by the powers that be quite significantly at this point. The prison, the Starsmiths Guild, and House Malclaith all are against you, and the Bornico Syndicate and the Maelstrom and the Mendicants all like you well enough.
It is their fault for having so many nice things to take.
I know, and ownership is what's important, or possession is what's important, right? All right.
As a possession, I know that very well.
Great. All right. So we've got about 20 minutes left. You guys get back onto your ship with folks who came to get. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of like 2-minute vignettes real quick of what is the first kind of thing you say to that person, and where it happens in the ship. I want to get you to each kind of give me a couple of details about that location. And then I'll set up kind of our next session, and we'll wrap. In future sessions, I will do stars and wishes at the end of each session. But I think since it's our first one and we did a lot of character creation and stuff, we'll skip it for the first time. Headliner, Maria Forte is in her jumpsuit. Where do you have a quick moment alone with her as you're getting her on board and settled in as you all take off?
Well, I'll take her to down to get some different clothes, and just let her. And on our way down there, we'll have a conversation. Just while we're alone, getting to her cleaned up and that sort of thing.
Okay, so this is kind of happening in like the hallway or something as you're moving to the crew's quarters, or is this in the crew's quarters?
I would say it'd be getting her settled in the cruise quarters in some sort of like laboratory
Okay.
nearby. Like,
What are the
I'd be
Sorry, I think your audio is like a little bit delayed, so I'm sorry if I keep cutting you off.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So far, you haven't cut me off.
okay, cool. What are the cruise quarters like? Or is it just like rows of bunks? Do you each have your own separate quarter? What is this like?
Well, I would think we each have our own separate quarter.
Okay.
And it doesn't really give you the option for guest quarters, does it?
No, but I think you have enough
So,
to house these people. Don't
yeah.
about them.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking is they would have their own if they need it, and that's where I'd be getting her settled is in one for herself. And
did you do anything special in her quarters, like leave a vase of flowers or?
Oh yes, I have some chocolates, some flowers, and I've drawn a picture of her as to how I sort of have seen her in my first vision of her.
Okay, is Headliner kind of an artist here?
Maybe not great, but that was kind of his thought of being a tribute.
Okay, great.
And sort of.
So I think she kind of sits down on the bunk as you feel the engines rev up in the ship, and it starts to propel itself through space here. She takes a deep breath and she just stares straight into your eyes and says, I can't believe it. I never thought I'd get out of there. And she looks over at the chocolates, and I think she starts crying a little bit. I don't think it's like kind of bawling or anything. I think you just see her eyes start watering a little bit, and she kind of just touches one of the chocolates for a minute, and she just says, "Thank you so much, Headliner. I know we've talked a lot, but it's nice to just talk in person too. Hear your actual voice."
Great to hear you too. Great to see you.
Where are we headed?
Well, let me go find out.
Okay. All right. Do you leave the room?
Yeah, I'll go looking for our pilot to see what course or if we have comms or something through the ship. I'll just say, "Hey, Candyman, where are you taking us?"
Okay. So, Candyman, where are you? Are you in the pilot's console with Maeve sitting co-pilot, or what's going on here?
There is no co-pilot on this ship.
Okay. Did you put Maeve in the brig just in case she's really mad at you for getting her arrested?
I'm gonna when we're in the airlock, like literally when we're in the airlock on the way in, I'm gonna turn to her and say, "You see, you said I've never amounted to anything. Well, I got you out of jail, and I got you out of jail 15 days before your thing expired. So there, you said I'd be useless."
Yeah, I could have sat there happy for 15 more days. I've already been in there 3 years thanks to you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, yeah.
And then I'll stomp off.
Asshole! She shouts after you.
Ingrate!
Where the hell is where do I get something decent to eat? Or there probably isn't even you were always a shitty cook.
La 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 la.
Okay, great. So headliner finds you and asks you about the directions. Where are you guys headed?
The purple one.
The purple one. Okay.
Yeah, whatever's purple out there, that's where we're going to go.
All right. Headed
Until someone else has a better idea.
excellent.
No, actually, let's go and
I
and
think
see
after
Desiree.
getting these usual responses from Candyman, Cardigan has just like drawn like little colors on all of the systems.
On the different planets, there's just like dry erase marker on the nav screens in different colors. Great. Oh, bro, let's go there. Where do you have a moment with your brother as you're getting settled back on the ship?
I think she takes him straight to the medical bay. What is it called? Medical. Yeah, medical bay.
Mhm.
And she's examining him. Are you okay? He-
Sis, I'm fine. I know how to check myself out. It's okay. Just relax.
and,
Or what does he call you? He probably doesn't call you sis. What does he call you? Does he call you Ro?
He could call me sis.
Okay.
Yeah, or Ro. Okay. Yeah, I think she goes over to like the super sci-fi pharmacological synthesizer, and punches a code in, and yeah, you get it. It's a joke that's been done a million times, but I'm gonna do it. The brother's like, I said I'm okay. And she's like, oh, this isn't for you. And she's like, down for a handful of pills.
Okay. Whoa. Hey, look, it's gonna be all right. You don't need to take all that. You know it's gonna mess up your metabolism. We're gonna have to run gene.
I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. Just you don't want me to have to take those. Don't get yourself locked into prison, and I have to go in there breaking you out.
Oh, you're gonna put it on me now. Look, I was following. I'm sorry you had to come all the way out here, bro. I goofed up just a little bit. I don't know. You shouldn't have had to do this. I'm sorry. You're so far away from everything that we knew. It's so different out here. The rules don't mean anything.
Okay, well, that could be a good thing too. That could be an opportunity.
Yeah, but what's the plan? Are we heading back, or are you? What are our parents? Are they coming out too, or?
I don't know. I'm supposed to see how far you got, scout things out, and finish the job.
Okay.
Whether you head back or stay with me, that's up to you.
Okay. Well, I didn't get very far. The job is it's not what not what any of us thought. So, and he just kind of puts his head in his hands. All right, Cardigan. You're carrying your creator in your arms. Where do you take Wanda?
Yeah, I take her off to my quarters, place her down in my bed. Do not worry about using my bed. I do not actually use it. I simply keep it here in order to fit in with the crew.
Well, I must say,
This is my desk, and this is the closet where I keep my various sweaters.
Cardigan.
And I kind of like just stare at her, like, now praise me.
Yes. Cardigan, you are amazing. When I built you, I never thought that synthetic life like you would take on such a beautiful and fantastic personality. And please help me up so I can see your sweater collection. I just can't
Oh yeah, I show her show my favorite prints, put a few on her, because she seems like she needs a few. Uh,
She's
Is he still locked in the handcuff?
yeah,
yeah.
I'm planning on working on that, but getting her settled is what I'm doing first right now.
Okay. All right. So you are getting her settled somewhat awkwardly, since she is bound. Um,
I mean,
when
she's bound and my mom, so it's always going to be awkward.
Candyman, you're flipping some switches, getting ready to blast off to the purple one.
Yeah, but I'm taking some getting there in a hurry medicine as well.
Okay, you've just downed it,
Yep.
and you've made a couple clicks away from the prison, and the radar system kind of alerts you. Does your ship have like a personality, or is it just real mechanical, kind of Battlestar Galactica, or does it have like an AI on board?
Well, we did say that there were AIs, so we'd have an AI, I think.
Okay. So between now and next session, you can think of a personality.
Although we don't have an AI module.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
That's
So
right.
it probably doesn't.
Okay. So yeah, then the screen just kind of starts flashing that you have incoming artillery off the bow, and you should probably take evasive action immediately.
Okay. Will I do that? Having just taken my hurry up, I will hit evasive maneuvers 3, and then I'll hit the comms warning everybody.
Okay.
Just slightly in that order, though. It's quite important.
Great. So just give me a roll. We'll go over to your sheet here. This will be a helm. It will be risky.
Yep.
Oh wait, sorry. Do you want to push yourself to get stress, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay,
that's what the hurry up medicine's about.
Okay, take 2 stress.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a bonus die, and I don't think there's anyone who can probably help you with this right now at this second. But I can give you a devil's bargain if you'd like an extra die, or you can just roll with 3. And the way the devil's bargains work is we set out a deal ahead of time. It comes true no matter what the outcome of your roll is, but you get a bonus die. So it could be something like, I'm going to add 2 heat in this system, or...
I can also exceed the specs.
Oh, yes, you can.
Let's do that.
All right.
And life support. That's kind of modern. That's not that essential, is it?
Jesus. Okay.
Not
so
at all.
which one are you going to damage?
Which
system here? We have comms, engines, weapons, or hull.
Cons. Someone uses that. Yep.
Okay. How are you damaging your comms to make evasive maneuvers here?
You just blast this like sound wave out.
Oh yeah,
It just fries all the comms.
Yeah, we have a dish, right? Which is what the con is. I'm going to swivel that and try to feed back power into it with the intent that if whatever's shooting at us, if it's radar control, or if it's got guidance, it will put it off. If it's just aimed at us, then it's bad luck.
Okay, so I will mark 1 damage here on your comms, and that gives you 2 bonus dice.
How do I roll dice?
So you go over to your helm and you click on the word helm.
I click on the word helm, yes.
And this will be a risky roll. So
it says risky. Yep.
Risky and hit submit.
Effective standard?
Yeah, it'll be standard. Hit submit.
And bonus dice, you said 2?
2 bonus dice, yes.
Hit submit. And that did something.
All right, so 6, a 5, a 4, and a 5. Wow. Okay. Excellent. And you get a bonus gambit if you roll a 6 on a risky roll. Is that right? That's how they come back.
I mean, it depends. Like that, it refreshes at the beginning of each job, so it probably won't matter.
Yeah, but that's how I think they come back.
Yeah,
that
if you get a 6 on a risky roll without spending a gambit, then yes, you get a new gambit.
Okay, yeah. So you guys have one more gambit here. Where's the ship here? I always get lost in all the sheets in Roll20, so give me a second. Crew, engines. Am I missing where it says gambit? Is there a gambit spot? I'll put it in notes for now.
What are you asking on the ship? There's a
Isn't there like a tracker? I'm not.
yeah. It's right below engines and above hull.
Oh yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So, tell me what this looks like as you dodge out of the way of these incoming.
Okay, well, I'm going to flick it into a really tight corkscrew spiral to the left, and then just going to floor it as quickly as I can, just pumping everything into it, and then do another quick spiral to the right.
All
And
right.
then see how it's going.
Great.
And I'll warn everybody around about the second time it's going to happen.
Okay. So, and when you make all these evasive maneuvers, I expect everyone in the ship feels it. Do they like rock to the side and whatever? So stuff gets real rocky all of a sudden. You guys are trying to get your folks kind of settled in, and the ship starts zigging one way, spinning the other way. And you're feeling kind of concussive blasts outside there, but the hull manages to stand strong. And over your comms, Candyman, you get a message coming in.
Oh, good thing we overrode the comms.
Well, you still got one comms left, so they're not completely
Dang.
down. It's a little garbled, though, because of all the static you're pumping out with your antenna dish. And you get a blip on your radar screen that there's a pretty large ship out there, and it says, please stop your evasive maneuvers and prepare to be boarded. We don't want to make this too hard and would prefer to really avoid any casualties at all possible. You're much more valuable to us alive.
I'm guessing this is a hegemony ship?
No, this is some sort of pirate vessel. You're not sure what the code is here on it. But we can find out more about that next time.
Pirates.
So, we're 2 minutes before the hour, so I have to stop. Otherwise, I'll get in trouble or something. I don't know. But thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all next week and getting to know your characters a little bit more. If there's ideas you want or scenes you want to have at any point during the game, just let me know, and I'm happy to help with it. Yes, Brian. XP. Oh, yes. Oh, geez. Now we're going to go over and I'm going to be in trouble.
I was just about to ask about that too.
All right. So if everyone can pull up your character sheets, we'll run through that real quick.
Yeah, and I don't know how much recording time you have available to you on StreamYard. I forget, but we could always do it off air.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? I'll end the broadcast now. Thank you for the reminder, Steven. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching, if you're watching, and we'll see you next week.